Coming up on today's After News, a WWE legend could be set for a return.
Cult WWE favourites are going to turn up in Ring of Honor.
Dijak shoots hard on WWE contracts.
And an controversial ex-WWE star has ruled out an in-ring return.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Sidgwick.
And this is the After News. Trish Stratus could be set for a WWE return. Actually, she is set technically for a WWE return at Money in the Bank, although technically she's going to be on the pre-show. She's going not wrestling either. She's going to be on the usual panel thing. Obviously, it's in Toronto. It's tomorrow, isn't it? Of course. It's part of her Bad Girl tour. She's also going to make like a hospitality appearance. If you've got like a gold ticket package, you can meet her, and then you do the elite ticket package. There's like her and Damian Priest or something like that. Obviously, last time we saw her, intense rivalry that picked up towards the end.
Yes, it did. Yes.
With,
very much so. Very
with
much so.
Becky Lynch. But also, in terms of like an in-ring return, she has sort of clarified what's going on with her, or at least given a hint that maybe that rivalry with Becky Lynch wasn't the last we'll ever see of her. She was chatting to Going Ringside recently, and they asked her about her retirement, basically, and she said, "Retirement? What is retirement? I'm not familiar with this word. I don't know anything about this word. We just stay ready." That's a general statement that we, her and Lita, like to live by just in case.
And she posted
I was going to
cryptic 7-second video which looked quite professionally shot, and if it isn't, I would like that camera phone.
Yes.
Of her walking the streets of Toronto at night, and she looked ready for an in-ring return, but ultimately Trish Stratus, she could live to 100 years old and look ready for an in-ring return, quite frankly.
Yeah, the replies on Twitter and Instagram were very excited.
I'm sure there were. I'm sure the replies to that video on Twitter and Instagram and socials were very, very excited.
I wish I was the road or something. I don't know. But yeah, other people were genuinely just really excited.
Can you walk on me next, please, Trish?
To genuinely see her back in the ring.
Those boots are made for walking all over my face. That sort of thing.
Love Trish Stratus.
I mean, she's incredible.
Yeah, can always bring something to it. And obviously, if you're in Canada, it's sort of a no-brainer to have her on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Zoe Starks, of course, in Money in the Bank. I should mention that. That makes a lot of sense with all the...
Indeed.
I don't think she's going to necessarily get involved just yet, but I never rule it out with someone like Trish. And like she said, she's always stays ready.
And she's never ruled it out neither. So from one WWE favourite act to another, it's finally happened.
Yes.
The former Maximum Male models who are now going by the moniker of MXM Collection are about to turn up in Ring of Honor on the TV show last night. There was a vignette hinting at their arrival, and I usually do my notes on my hand and try and sort of memorise it.
Very good.
I'm very awkward.
No, people moan about me always looking at my phone.
Well, you're going to moan at me as well.
It's what I do inside and outside the studio.
I just don't want to miss one, okay? So the voiceover heralds the arrival of the Maximum Male models. It's a really funny vignette. Yeah. And I just don't want to miss a single nickname because these are all fantastic. So they give the presentation of it's and the others are, right, okay. So Mason, which is the former Marseille, Dio Madden, Mason Madden, Mansour, I believe he's still going by Mansour. Mason is the mahogany hunk, the height of fashion and mother. Now, Mansour's completely nailed this, okay? Just don't be greedy and pick one because these are all gold. In fact, I'll get them in a second, right? If I'm Mansour and I'm coming up with these nicknames, I would just drip feed them.
Yeah.
So that I can just do different gimmicks because
different one each time, yeah.
Each and every one of these are fantastic, right? Okay, so Mansour is the Sultan of Suave.
Brilliant.
This one's the best, I think. The Iron Sheik, C-H-I-C. Absolutely, mwah, bellissimo. And the man who will make you soar.
Are we spelling soar? Fly or?
Well, it was a voiceover, mate, so I don't know. I do not know. But you know, he's a wrestler, so he wants to make you soar in the ring.
Exactly. I have said on numerous occasions, I love these two men. I know LA Knight much prefers being LA Knight than Max Dupri. I still held Maximum Male Models in such high regard.
Which is funny, weren't
The fact they got away with like, right, middle of a PLE, probably time for like a, I don't know, tennis shoot or something like that. The water advert was obviously the kind of peak of everything. I thought they were like a really fun gimmick as well. Like some tag teams don't have to come in and be like, we're going to win the gold. Like they were just so good, and the little like the look to the hard cam and the really good. So I'm really glad they've been picked up by Ring of Honor, and I will reiterate, like I did when we first reported on them potentially going to Ring of Honor, AEW, AEW, All In. Please bring them to the UK, and I am, if they are coming, I am begging you, let me interview them. I want to just stand next to those two men and smell them. I'll barely ask them any questions. I love them.
You want to interview them? I want to see them in a pro wrestling match.
Good point.
Do you know who else wrestles for Ring of Honor quite frequently?
Don't do this to me.
The Outrunners.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine MXM Collection versus the Outrunners? How much...
Dalton Castle as a special guest referee.
Oh my God. How much fun that would be. Look, I'm a big sort of... I like wrestling. Am I wrestling personally?
Yes.
And, you know, there's this big, weird culture war about that. You know, I like everything, but I like an emphasis on really great, technical, brawling, like the best versions of wrestling done great. You know what I absolutely love, done incredibly well? Comedy. We don't see enough of it. That match could be an absolute blast. It could be the hoot of the year.
We got a glimpse of it when the Outrunners, I think it was a handicap match against Orange Cassidy the other day.
That's so good. This could be magic.
Yeah, I want to interview all of them. I want to interview Don Castle, I want to interview the Outrunners, and I want to interview MXM. I think they're the best. Like, we were lucky enough to be there when I saw my childhood hero, The Rock, tag with Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and I thought, well, tag team wrestling's peaked. It hasn't.
No,
that's the peak right there.
That is the peak.
Yeah, really happy for them, genuinely as well, because obviously, like, I was annoyed when they got released. I thought they really offered something like...
They were genuinely getting over on their own dime. They were making it happen, grabbing that brass ring, setting themselves apart.
They've obviously kept doing stuff on, like, Twitch streams and social media and stuff. They did the soft ground wrestling stuff, which is fantastic, of course. And now in Ring of Honor, which is kind of the perfect place for them right now, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, and
just to see, does it have really legs? Is it a meme, or is it a genuinely bona fide comedy act that can, like, people, like, wrestlers have been doing comedy for years and years, and, you know, they can have longevity in it, so maybe this is the first test of that.
And now 3 reasons to watch Ring of Honor. Mark Briscoe's the champion, the Outrunners are there, and now so's MXM. Maybe I'll actually start watching this product.
The women's division rules as well?
Yes. Oh, yeah, Athena's great, of course. Yeah, I should mention that. But really happy for them, and we'll keep you posted. And again, if any of the names we've just mentioned are coming to the UK for All In, please.
They heard you the first time.
I know, but please. Right, let's talk about Dijak. He's obviously been in the news a lot recently, released by WWE, having his say on some really interesting pitches for a Retribution storyline, and now shooting hard on WWE contracts.
As he should.
Chatting with Forbes, yes, about it, and reiterated a point that many wrestlers have said and many commenters have said in the past. I don't think it's a secret, said Dijak at this point, that nobody's a fan of the WWE contract. That isn't a real contract, because they can just release you at any point for any reason. I think that's silly nonsense. I don't know why that's allowed to be legal. It just feels illegal to me, and I feel like nobody's taken the time and monetary effort to challenge the legality of it. We're so clearly not independent contractors. That's the most made-up nonsense in the history of the world, and people have talked about this ad nauseum. Something needs to be done about this. It's just silly. It's silliness. That being said, if you're going to allow people's contracts to run out, I think there needs to be more communication, obviously. I'm a fantastic example of that. It's something we circle back to, and this isn't just a WWE problem. It's an industry-wide problem, but it is mainly WWE that obviously gets noticed for this, because you're an independent contractor. You're not beholden to us. We can release you at any point that we want. You can't get out of your contract at any time that you want, really.
That's the worst thing.
And if you want to do some other stuff, we can potentially say no to that, despite the fact that you are not contract to us directly.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I don't think... I personally, my opinions do not reflect those of What Culture Wrestling or, you know, whatever. I mean, I can't disagree with a goddamn thing he said. It really disappointed me. It's one of those where it's like, it's become normalised that WWE does this to the point where, you know, it upsets you, but not enough, quite frankly. So, like, fair play to Dijak for bringing this back into the conversation, because it is, as he says, a conversation that needs to be had. It really disappointed me when Tony Khan did it earlier this year. You're a billionaire, mate. You've agreed to something. Follow it through. Don't use the people if you don't want to use them, but you've agreed to something.
Yes.
It's something that's wound me up about pro wrestling forever.
Yeah, that was something that we sort of held you in high regard for in terms of
And
you
look,
might not want to use this person, but you both agreed 3 years. 3 years is 3 years. You've got unlimited money anyway. What's it matter?
I know people in the comment section might be saying, well, hang on, why is this an AEW thing? It's an industry-wide thing. Like, no one has paid anywhere near enough in pro wrestling, I would say, across the board, considering the revenue that it generates. And the really irritating thing is they can just let you go. If you want to leave, well, tough tits. It's very difficult for you to do that. And that's like Pac. Like spent a year of his athletic prime. What a disgrace that is when you consider how great Pac is. Even if he's rubbish, he deserves the chance to earn.
Yeah.
Pac in particular. Like a year? Was it October to October?
Pretty much.
It's unbelievable. It's a disgrace. Fair play to Dijak for bringing it up. I doubt anything will happen. I'm a nihilist at heart. I'm a cynic. I'm a pessimist. That will happen, but fair enough for bringing it up.
Yeah, I think if anything was going to be changed and they were going to become proper contracted people, that would have been along with AEW. That's what we were hoping when AEW came along. That was going to be the difference they did. They've gone along the independent contractors route.
Mostly there are employees there who wrestle, who work.
But yeah, for the most part, AEW set an example of we agree to a time period for this contract. We agree a wage. If you want out or I want out, we it needs to change. But this is a record that we've played for the last 20 years, basically.
I know it's hard to muster up the energy, even though the energy is so warranted. Another former WWE wrestler has interviewed recently with Chris Van Vliet.
Hey,
now this seems ridiculous, right? I obviously know I know the answer to this, and I don't know why, but every now and then I'll go on X, Reddit, comment sections of websites or whatever, and I'll just read something that blows my mind. Mm-hmm. Will Muhammad Hassan ever return? Well, no, he won't. He was interviewed recently by Chris Van Vliet. He went over his history there, talked about the heat that he attracted in the locker room. He talked about navigating that incredibly challenging gimmick that was imposed upon him. And he was also asked, look, do you ever want to make an in-ring return? And I guess why Chris Van Vliet has asked that question is because he's probably seen a lot of the similar sentiments online. People think it was a squandered opportunity and wonder if he'll ever come back to pro wrestling. He said countless times, no, I lost my love for it, and God damn it, can you blame him? Not one iota. So I guess he just wanted to clarify that. He did make a series of appearances across some small level indies in 2018, but as he himself said, he did it just for the fun of it. Yeah. What's ironic though about Muhammad Hassan is that he hasn't been a major player in North American professional wrestling for near enough 20 years. Yeah. He was very, very young at the time. So you think, well,
Was it 2005?
2005, he was written off TV forever. Okay. We are nearly 19 years. We are nearly 2 decades removed from that moment. And yet you still get the odd sentiment expressing, it's nice of you, I guess, but it ain't going to happen. The irony, though, is that he was super, super young at the time. And there wasn't really an NXT, obviously. It was Ohio Valley Wrestling. 2005 was still the primary developmental outfit. So there wasn't this case of you sign up for WWE and 99 times out of 100 anyway, you spend a lot of years in NXT. And by the time you join the main roster, you are not young, really. Mm-hmm. Time to play the game. How old is Muhammad Hassan now?
So you say 19 years. I'm going to go 45.
He's 42.
What?
I'm not doing a bit here, right? That's probably around about the median age of the WWE headliner. Or a top bracket. Sheamus is I know he's not a headliner, right? But those dependable WWE guys. Damian Priest is around about that age, which just breaks my brain.
Finn Balor, Kofi Kingston, Asuka, Natalya, Ryback.
All older.
All 42.
Yeah. Sheamus is 46 now. Yeah. How old's Drew? He's late 30s. Easy. Cody Rhodes is late 30s. Damian Priest is 40. AJ Styles is well above 44. I'm not being funny. 42. You're a spring chicken in WWE these days. In the main roster, certainly.
Carl Anderson is 44. Randy Orton 44. Mickey James 44. Shinsuke Nakamura 44.
I mean, so maybe there is a sense, but he's not doing it. And the thing is right. He had this gimmick that for whatever people, I mean, it's obviously incredibly memorable. It sparked conversation that still persists in niche online circles to this day. Ultimately, you need drive to be a pro wrestler. These people bump for a living. By his own admission, he has no drive and no interest. You kind of need to do that if you're going to be a wrestler again. But, slow news day.
The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Bryan Danielson, Shayna Baszler, Claudio Castagnoli, and NXT, the developmental brand star, Sean Spears, all 43.
It's crackers.
That's mild.
Absolutely crackers.
But I genuinely think it's going to be a fascinating. Chris Van Vliet is just on an absolute tear with interviews right now. He followed in my footsteps interviewing Joe Hendry, of course, but he's had some great people on there.
Come on.
Yeah. He's great.
He's basically getting some attention, let's just say that.
Yes.
Great people on.
Yes, that's a fair point, as well.
It's a very fair point. There's been some not so great people being interviewed.
But yeah, well worth checking that Mohamed Hassan interview out. Like you say, just so surreal that people... Because you knew within a year or two, he was like, the gimmick was awful.
I didn't like the culture.
Obviously, it just completely burned my interest in wrestling. 19 years later, things start to make a comeback. But yeah, check that out and let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed in the comments section below. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. While you're at it, why not check out this morning's news video, which is available right here. Bye.